Hello and welcome to this video. Today we're going to be looking at selling Pokemon cards on eBay and some of the key things that make Pokemon cards sell and what also cause Pokemon cards not to sell. So if you're looking at investing in Pokemon cards, collecting, or you're flipping, then this video will hopefully be of benefit because it works both ways. If you're a buyer, then you can look at these kind of things to find better deals, and of course if you're a seller you want to maximize your profit, so being aware of these three things is very important. So let's now take a look. So first and foremost, your titles are incredibly important, and that is, as I say, works both ways. So if you're a seller, you want to be as descriptive as possible, and not only that, you want to add details of the card or any item you sell on eBay that people are searching. So what I've done here is I've shown these were some of the first cards I found when in a recent search, but I've included here an example of a good title and an example of a bad title, and this is why these are good titles. Now ignore that they're auctions, that's just how I found them. The reason why the Mewtwo is a good title is because we've included the card number after the specific Pokemon. We've included that it's a holo, which is important because that's obviously a rarer card. We've got the set it's from, we've got the year, and we've also got the condition. Now, if I was being a little bit picky, I might have even put in WOTC here, but you know what, this is a really good example, and you can see it's got a bid and it's a minute to go, and I mean, I'm not comparing a Mewtwo to the Rayquaza, I think that's how you say it. They're very different cards. This is obviously in demand and this isn't, and that's not what we're comparing here, but it is important to note, this has got a bid, and that's probably because it's got a good title, and yeah, it's a good card as well, and it doesn't look in bad condition, so that's important too. Now, why is this bad? Well, first and foremost, there's no description of the set it's from, no reference to the number of the set. You've got Japanese in brackets here. People aren't going to search for this. It's relatively vague. Even if it requires a Japanese Pokemon card, that's probably better because someone's more likely to search that than this. Who's going to search this? They might search for this string, but especially this set as well. It's a common set. Yeah, the chances of someone finding that are very, very slim. So unfortunately, this is a bad title, and this is particularly important for buy it nows. Maybe not so much auctions, but hasn't got a bid. And yeah, it's just one of those things. I'm sorry if this is your listing. Chances are you're not seeing this anyway, but it's important to note. Secondly, the pictures. Now I've actually done some screenshots of a card I've literally just bought, and you can see here how much I paid for it. Now, the pictures are of course important for so many different reasons, showing the authenticity of a card, if it's real or fake. And of course the condition of a card is important to anyone. That's what you're buying. You want it to be in the best condition as possible, and the pictures have to be able to show that. Now, the reason I'm not actually including these as great pictures, in fact I think they could be better. There was only 2 pictures on the listing, the front and the back. Sometimes you don't even get pictures of the back, and in that instance you should always ask to see a picture of the back of a card when you're buying. Get the seller to send that over to you. You need to see the back of the card. Sometimes the front can look great and the back can be terrible, and any damage or wearing on the back can completely destroy its value. The reason I'm including this picture here is because I actually believe it's why I got it at such a great price. You got a distracting background. There's I've seen a lot worse pictures as well, but there wasn't many pictures. I'd like to have seen this in different angles, and I've purchased this at a good price. But I think what I'm trying to say is if these pictures were better, I think they could have got a higher price for it. And if I quickly jump into, I'm going to head into TCG Player now. You can actually see it's worth a lot more. Granted, this is US So with the exchange rate, it's probably about 25, and that's really where the median's at as well. So you can see I've actually got quite a good deal here. Of course, it depends on numerous factors, that the price, which we'll look at shortly. But just on the face of it here, you can see that I've got it at a very good price. But taking a little step further, let's actually have a look into eBay itself. Well, I've just searched in for this particular type of Charizard, and at the top you can see straight away it's £30. Now it's 12 watches as well, so that price hasn't put people off. I mean, we don't know how long this card's been up, but it hasn't put people off, and it hasn't been bought yet. But that's double the price. Now, if you scroll down, you can see there's a few others at that price point, and you need to think about the conditions as well. But look, you can see I've got myself a good deal here. This is lower. This is the one I bought, so this hasn't refreshed. But you can see here, it's drastically different. And the only other ones that are available at a similar price point is this one, for instance. And there's no back of the card. You can't see it. And you can see some scratching as well when you zoom in. So yeah, the pictures are absolutely essential. Absolutely essential. And if you scroll down here, you can see that they've put it up a little bit too cheaply, in my opinion, but that's to my gain. Of course, this is what's currently available. There's 52 on the market. You've always got to look at what's sold. You can see this is my purchase here. It's sold, the purchase. But if you look across some of the other prices, now we've got one at slightly lower than what I've paid literally today. You've got one yesterday that was £21. That's £6 higher than what I paid. And you've got some obviously really cheap ones here, but let's be honest, that looks a bit of a gamble to me. But yeah, you need to think about your goals. Are you investing? Are you collecting? Or are you flipping? If you're flipping, this might not have been the right card for you. But I know that this particular card, I know this will go for much more in the future. So if I just hold on to this for a little while, I've sold them in the past for £35 plus. And that's what we see here. This is the kind of thing you're seeing here. This is an aggregate pricing. This is not taking into account the fluctuations. I know that if I hold on to this long term, that it will sell for a lot more. So, for instance, we can see one on the 11th. So this card as well. Look how frequently it's selling. It's I've scrolled quite far down, and we're still 10 days in the past. But simply 10 days ago it went for 30 quid. Holo near mint. I think mine probably isn't near mint, but I think I can fetch similar price. I think I can get at least £25 for this, especially if I sit on it. So that's very, very important as well. So we have the pictures. Now the price. Now of course this is key to selling on eBay, and or what you will consider when buying cards. Now the price is a very interesting one. There's so many different factors involved that impact the price. And I've included some of the main ones here, and I'll quickly just walk through them. So the pictures, of course, we've just discussed. Now, a poor picture will put any buyer off, irregardless of price, unless it's considerably cheap or it's, it's too good to miss. And then there's no other kind of red flags like poor feedback. So the pictures can really transform selling, the chances of selling. So for instance, with the card I've bought here, if I feel like if I really demonstrate the value and condition of this card, I can sell this for much more. The card quality, so what I mean here is, is it a, this is the condition really, this is just an extended point on the condition. The card rarity, so not only, when I say rarity, I don't mean is it just a common or an uncommon, which is still important. I'm talking about specifically the set. So is it, in this instance, this is an older set that is always in demand. It's cool artwork. There's not too many on the market at any one time, so that's what I'm talking about. So the price of a card is quite dependent on that. And the next point follows really, the supply and demand. Now the more supply of a card, the higher or the harder it will be to get a higher price. It's simple economics here. If you think about demand, when you have a card, this is why you get some cards that sell for a lot one week and not much the next. It really depends on what's available on the market at the time, and if you have buyers actively looking for cards. So that's one thing to consider. Of course, if you've only got one card that's on, if there's only one, you've got the only one card that's on the market, it doesn't matter if you put, you know, the kind of price you put it at, if it's not a card that people want. That's something you have to consider here. It's supply and demand, and there's also popularity to consider. Now, perceived value, that is actually a big one, and that's on the buyer and the seller's part. So, you know, this individual here, I'm really sorry to have included you here, and B, you know, got such a great deal at your expense. In my opinion, of course, you can disagree. If you want to disagree, then drop a comment down below. I'd actually be quite interested if you don't think that's a good deal. But the perceived value, so this individual, so I've paid £1.75 for postage. This individual valued their card at, you know, around £15. Now I value it at 25, so plus. So, you know, that has a big impact on the price. And if you can find sellers or buyers, or, you know, who have a certain value and you think differently, then sometimes that can work in your favour. Timing, I already touched upon that a little bit so far. You know, that's when you're coming into the market. Sometimes, you know, the market can fluctuate. We've seen that we've seen that a lot in the last couple of months, and we'll see it going forward, especially with especially newer sets that are coming to the market. But yeah, you just need to look at the timing and think about, you know, are cards, is it the right time to buy? You know, if you're looking for cards, then, and if you've got a collection, or you're thinking long term for an investment, then timing is maybe not as important for, you know, what you're willing to pay. But you know, it is something to consider. If you're flipping, timing is absolutely essential, especially if you want a quick flip and you don't want to tie too much money into a particular product or card. Now, market and external economic factors, again, really talked about that already a little bit so far. Really, that's just, you know, how much money do people have, disposable income, you know, what's going on in the world, how much interest is there in Pokemon, is there anything specifically that people are looking for, you know, will have more time to spend on their hobbies, that kind of thing. You need to think about the external environment. So at the moment, it's been a bit of a boom, but, you know, there is talk within the community that it might change soon. So something definitely to keep an eye on, and to think about. You know, this industry is not immune to those factors like any other industry. And market knowledge as well is the last one I'm going to touch on before I finish. You know, how much someone knows about their product and their card is absolutely vital. Like I was aware that this could go for more, so I purchased it without any hesitation. To some people that might be scary. You know, you might not have the money to just spend on cards, but if you know they're going to sell at some point, or you're willing to play the long-term game, or have the money to do so, then that's going to make this whole thing so much easier for you. And the other side of that, if you don't have the market knowledge, then you're not going to get the prices you expect. I mean, you're either going to put your cards up for too high and you won't sell your cards at all, or you'll undervalue them and you'll sell them, you know, instantly, or too quickly, or for a lot less than they could have got. So, you know, these are things just to consider. They're essential for buying and selling. You know, predominantly selling. If you're selling Pokemon cards on eBay, do take these things in mind. But also when you're buying as well, think about these things. And I hope this video was useful. If it was, I would really appreciate it if you could hit the like button. If you subscribe, you'll and hit the bell notification, you'll discover when I release videos like this. And if you have any questions or comments, please do drop them down below. They're really useful for me. They help me to understand what kind of content you want, what way you're having issues or concerns. So please do that. Now, I hope you have a wonderful day.